This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
You're wondering whose voice is this? Is it Kim's? It definitely isn't Swat's voice. It is Deborah's voice, and I'll be here on Hard Facts with you. And LFEZ is here as well. Good afternoon to you, and thank you for joining us.
It's a very wonderful afternoon
yes.
and a good day. And it's good to see you, Debbie. You look good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you look good. And of course, we have an amazing guest too. It's our Wednesday dose for everybody out there.
Yes.
I know some people are ready. Some are online. Some are on YouTube.
Yeah.
They are just saying, LFEZ and Debbie, please just take your voice away. And
what a combination.
You know, I mean, you don't know. See, these two Kanawa people on the show today. And by the way, we'll look at something from Kano because I need to confirm from Dr. Majeed if the Kano governor is going in the right direction as regards some appointments, some reappointments, some demolitions here and there, and also looking at the economic waste itself. But I mean, we have Dr. Majeed Dahiru in the building this afternoon. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, LFEZ.
And it's good to have you.
And to Debbie.
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of...
so this is what we do,
how
right?
are you going to
we do
switch from soft talk to hard talk?
Well, that's how we roll. The ability to shape shift,
Good,
right?
It's good to have you here.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So I'll be giving you a rundown of what it will be like on the show this afternoon. We'll begin with the roundtable, and our guest is ably seated in the person of Mr. Majeed Dahiru. And
He's a doctor.
Okay, so that's doctor. Let's leave it at that, right? Welcome once again.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so the roundtable will be running from now to about 4:45, and then we'll bring you Abuja today at the top of the hour, 4 o'clock, and the roundtable continues. We'll conclude the roundtable 4:45, as I had mentioned. Then we'll bring you more on the show. But altogether, it promises to be an interesting edition because we have some hard stuff to dish out, and I hope you're ready to deal with it. Okay, so top on the list would kickstart with the conversation, and there's a report that judges and elected politicians are to get 114% salary rise.
So that conversation, I think also where the dailies that also published it were trying to be very smart about the way they put up that particular headline, because I know they always do that review in December. And it's still up for conversation and also for approvals, because it stretched into January, which was, of course, not the present president, as it were. It was during the Buhari administration. And so I think they're just still, this is still in talks, but what they are proposing more like an increase of 114% on that, which, of course, is still very much debatable. And I know, and I'm also looking at it from a point of the Tinubu administration, that they might not want to dive into it because it looks like a very boiling water to jump into.
Yeah. Well, given that it's
Dr. Majeed is laughing because it looks like, I mean, Dr. Majeed, you are very well aware of the subsidy story, how it went. I mean, Tinubu said subsidy is gone, Debbie.
Exactly.
And the next minute, things started happening. Tinubu actually did not remove subsidy, but he said it is gone because it was not provided in the budget.
Yeah.
So if you look at this also, it looks like a very boiling water that people...
It will be a hard nut to crack, and given the peculiarity of the situation on ground right now, I would wonder how people would manage hearing the fact that politicians will have a pay rise when the masses have been told to endure. That there will be hard times to come, to tighten their belts.
Yes.
So if it ever comes to fruition, do you think it would stand to have that salary rise for the judges? I think that's a fair one, because if they are earning enough, the allegation that they could be bribed also may not really, be there, but for the politicians, should they be included in this? Right?
What do you have against the politicians?
Well, they already have surplus, the comfort and.
Wow. Well, you are right. It's a cause for concern, and I'm sure that Nigerians will be wondering if, in the midst of all of these sacrifices and belt tightening, that those you consider as the political leadership of this country are now considering a pay rise for themselves. I'm sure, like Elephant said, I'm sure it's like jumping into the boiling water.
Yeah.
You know what that means. Yes, the conversation has been on. The Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission is actually tasked with the responsibility of, from time to time, reviewing of wages and salaries of public servants, which includes politicians and judges as well. And so they have come up with this, and like Rafik actually said, it's been an ongoing proposition, rather, that there's a need to have some adjustments in their salaries. I will argue with you that, look, the real salaries of these people are actually not as much as you might think. And since they're not on minimum wage has been increased severally, and that they too need some increase and all of that. Well, the thing is this, basically, everybody who works for government deserves a decent pay. Either as judges, politicians, civil servants, or workers generally. Everybody deserves a decent pay. And it is government's responsibility to provide that decent pay. But what I think Nigerians will have observation about is those that are in government that are now demanding for higher pay. What has been their productivity level and output such that the same government that they are running can provide better pay for the ordinary Nigerian, who is just a civil servant or just an ordinary worker. And since that has not been the case, I'm sure it will not be very justifiable at this point in time for a group of people that are not as productive as they're supposed to be talking about a pay rise, particularly when Nigerians right now are at their lowest. Honestly, it is no longer a joke. Even the most ardent defenders or champions of subsidy removal are beginning to have a rethink and talking about something else, are now asking for palliatives and all sorts of other things. In fact, a colleague of mine this morning on his own prime time show on TV was like, we need to have subsidy restored. And I'm like, oh, really? So it's not really a joke, and people cannot be sacrificing this much, and political leaders are contemplating increasing their own paychecks. It's not sensitive. It is not going to be a responsible thing to do. And so if you ask me, and again, like Elefisi pointed out, the current administration that is inheriting this proposition, they have just put a hold on this until they are able to lead Nigerians out of this current deprivation, pauperization, and want to some level of prosperity. It's when you have worked for the people and the people's life have improved that you can begin to think of certain rewards for yourself for hard work. So until such a time, I do not think that this government should jump into this hot water that is brewing. They should just put it in abeyance. It has been in abeyance for some time. Just leave it like at that, because our judges, yes, they deserve better. Our politicians deserve better by way of their own legitimate salaries and income.
Yeah.
However, the fact that Nigerians are made to pay more now for basic services, I'm aware that judges and politicians still retain certain perks of office that is not available to any other category of the Nigerian public other than themselves. So they are already well taken care of comparatively. They are already well off enough. I mean, asking for more at this time would be a bit insensitive. So I think the government should just place this in abeyance, just allow it to remain at the level of proposition until things really get better for the people. Now, once the people are better off, once we're able to afford our basics, and once prosperity returns, nobody cares whether anybody earns salary or not.
But Dr. Majeed, I think there is a future to that in following what you just said, because I mean, in July 1st, we are expecting some form of increase in electricity tariff. Proposed 40%. So when is that most likely when? If they that when things will just be better for them to adhere to such an increase?
That was just a way of saying, perish this thought for as long as Nigeria remains the way it is. And you are very right. Things are going to get worse. I don't know why anybody thinks it's going to get better. But I don't blame the president and the current government. No. I've made this point severally. You know why? There was an economic orthodoxy that was in place. It was preached vociferously, and anybody who didn't believe in it was denounced as an apostate or a heretic. And that orthodoxy is the new liberal concept of economic thinking that says government should move subsidies on almost everything as much as possible, and the government has no business doing business. I keep emphasizing this. So for 24 years now, since we returned to democracy, government has barely existed for just the purpose of politicking and not real governance. And what is the effect you are seeing today? So what this will do for us as a people is this. By the time they increase tariffs on power, by the time the price of petrol increases, by the time the naira crashes against the dollar, than it is already, by the time things generally becomes worse, it will now induce a shock therapy of some sort. So I can begin to rethink this economic orthodoxy that led us to this place, to which all candidates, or should I say the leading candidates of the three major parties in Nigeria in the last election, subscribed to. What we see the president doing today, it was what every other major contender for the presidency in 2020 actually promised, including the floating of the naira, removal of subsidy, just name it, privatization, just name it. So we need to have a rethink. We need to now sit down and think twice. And let me say this. There's no country in the world, I will emphasize, no country that is prosperous anywhere in the world, from Western Europe to North America, to Middle East, to Southeast Asia, to even North Africa, including South Africa. There's no country in any of this part of the world whose government does not subsidize energy. You see, energy is so important to economy and well-being of any country's citizen because of its role. It's like it is the engine room of the economy. The same way you breathe in oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. It's the same way our economy relies on energy to breathe and survive. And so there's nowhere in the world where subsidies are not in place for energy products and services, including electricity, PMS, diesel, gas, name it. Some governments are rich enough to subsidize all. Some will pick the most important and subsidize, but one form of subsidy or the other is always in place. Yeah, you can't price energy in terms of profitability. No. It's a matter of national security. It's a matter of national economic security. And so the moment you move subsidy from petrol, the problem will only become worse. There cannot be a solution. It's not possible.
Wow. All right, but you said you wonder why some people may think things would become better in the long run. But we had the former president of the World Bank, David Malpass, hailing President Tinubu just today, right, in a tweet that he appreciates the fact that the subsidy was removed and a whole lot more. And a whole lot of other people are hailing the fact that the moves that the president has made in a short while, is applaudable. So do you not think that considering the hailing, there could be some positives coming out of this?
These are new liberal pundits and economic experts. The people I was actually talking about. Those who created this belief system.
Okay.
And imposed it upon the third world countries. And somehow we have swallowed it hook, line, and sinker. And the question you should ask him is, why is the U.S. that controls the World Bank subsidizing petrol in the U.S.? Why? Ask him. Why is the U.S. subsidizing education? Why is the U.S. subsidizing anything subsidizable, including food? Why does the U.S. government, the U.S. appoints the president of the World Bank, is their prerogative. The same way Europe appoints the IMF chair. Now, the question is, why does America spend 19% of its budget, the largest component of its budget, higher than education, higher than healthcare, higher than defense? America's budget for defense is over $700 billion. America spends twice that amount for social security and welfare.
Wow.
So ask this gentleman, why does America do this? Why does America spend most of its monies on welfare and social security? And why is it telling Nigeria not to do the same? What is the purpose of government? But I don't blame World Bank chiefs and some other development partners. I don't blame them really. It's our leaders. If our leaders could simply eschew corruption and stealing and be responsible and be productive, there will be enough money to provide basic subsidies for food and energy for citizens. This is the conversation we need to start having today. Maybe from the point of view of the World Bank, they feel since you can't, maybe they have taken for granted that Africans can't but be corrupt. Yeah. So, okay, since you are so corrupt, let us leave that question.
Yeah.
So to say
you how to
stop giving your people subsidy Maybe that's just the template they're applying. Now, the question is, why is America and most of these countries I've talked about, why are they able to provide subsidy for their citizens without going broke? You know the reason? Have you ever heard in modern times, we are young adults, since we were born, have you heard any instance where a governor or a president in any of those countries was said to have stolen 1 area of public funds? You know how Trump can be hated by those who hate him?
Yeah.
Do you know there's no allegation against Trump for stealing money? Have you noticed that there was not a single allegation?
Yeah.
His case was on taking documents.
Morality. He said something about somebody in the locker room that was inappropriate. In Nigerian parlance. Issues. Have you noticed that nobody has ever accused Trump of stealing 1 naira of American money? Trump wasn't even collecting salaries. His salary went straight through his account to a charity fund. Yes. Have you noticed that in the UK, for example, recently we had changes in leadership.
Yes.
From Boris Johnson to Liz Truss, and now we have Rishi Sunak. Do you know none of these people was accused? Not one person was accused of stealing £1 of British money. For
Boris Johnson,
they said he had
COVID during COVID.
This was a man who walked around the clock to rescue his country from the ravages of COVID-19 pandemic. But he said, "Wait, why you said we should stay at home?"
You went out.
He didn't go out.
He was in house parties.
In 10 Downing Street. After they had this work, some of his staffs were in the garden,
Yes.
just to unwind, and he joined them briefly. That was the offense, that a prime minister should be the moral compass of his country, should be so above board that you can't even break the rules you set for the public in private. He had to resign. Nobody said it's meaning they have gone beyond the level of stealing money.
Yeah.
For Liz Truss, she came in with a blueprint.
Yeah.
Okay, it didn't work as soon as she applied it. And they said, Madam, this thing is not working though. Then she decided to apply what Rishi Sunak promised to do, because Rishi Sunak was a rival for the leadership of the Conservative Party and the Prime Ministership. So she wanted to adjust. She found her finance minister and wanted to adjust towards what Rishi Sunak promised during the campaigns, even though he lost. And the people said, hey, since you are now going towards Rishi Sunak's plan, resign 45 days later, so that this Rishi Sunak can come in and do that.
Yes.
None of these people stole 1 naira. In a country where you hear of the humongous, you don't hear, you see it. Humongous stealing of public resources, misuse and abuse of public trust. Such a country's problem is not subsidy. It is lack of proper governance. Accountability.
Yeah.
Opacity in public management of resources. And I've said this severally too. Every developing economist, a government must be involved in the means of production. You see, our government, our politicians adopted this neoliberal concept because it was an easy way out of them, for them to simply enjoy the privileges of government and power without the responsibility that comes with it. So they tell you, government does not do business. They throw the house up in the air. And then they tell you, the private sector will come and do it. And up to today, anyway, the food market of Nigeria does not have any functioning food processing plant anywhere in that state. Taraba, the same thing. But Kogi, where we have limestone deposit, the state government has not a single cement factory. Not one. I just want to develop rivers, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, all these oil producing states don't have one single state-owned or partly owned refinery. Not one. So you see, we're only depending on rent and royalties from crude oil exploration and export, which is dwindling by the day. We turned NNPC upside down, repainted the structure and called it NNPC Limited. Where are we? We brought one document called PIA. Where are we? Because we are refused to do the real. We are not doing the real thing. Responsibility. Soludo became governor of Anambra State with so much excitement because he belongs to the school of thought. The next thing we saw was that Soludo rolled out his economic blueprint, which included levying taxes on Okada, truck pushers, bus drivers, and motorway drivers. This was his own method of raising the revenue for the state.
Dr. Majeed, let's hold you on that. We'll go for a quick break, and when we come back, the conversation continues. Stay with us.
Audio Jungle.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Nwachukwu. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
Nothing breaks the news like the news. Trust me, I can prove it. I do it every morning on Morning Crossfire from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Nigeria Info 95.1, and I'm Femi D. Amede. Join the biggest conversation around the national politics every day in a way that is trustworthy, full of passion, and yes, covers the biggest politics and the stories that matter to you. See, you have all the reasons to find out what's going on in Nigeria and be engaged differently. Let's talk. That's the way to go, even this morning.
This is Nigeria Info.
Is passionately connected to everyone. Let's talk on Nigeria Info 95.1 Abuja.
This is Hard Facts. This is Hard Facts. Hard Facts.
On 95.1 Nigeria Info.
3:27 Nigerian time, and welcome back to Hard Fact. Dr. Majeed, talking about Anambra, and you mentioned some of the.
Soludo is one of our brightest. But because of this orthodoxy that all of them have subscribed to, even when given the opportunity, they can't really transform the economies of their states around. And so he began to tax Okada riders, and that was his own way of generating revenue. It's only recently I heard in the news that he has ordered for the importation of seedlings from Malaysia to now kickstart palm oil production in Anambra State. Something that should have been done the first day in office. Today, Onitsha is like the commercial capital of probably Nigeria, if you ask me. It was because the old Eastern Regional Government, under the leadership of Emma Okpara as premier, built the Onitsha main market. That was government doing business. How come no Anambra State governor since then has deemed it fit to rebuild that same market and make it an international shopping destination for the sub-region of West Africa? How come nobody has thought it wise?
Just maybe they don't look at revenue from there.
Because government says it doesn't do business. So they think they can get revenue from taxes. So he resorted to taxing people that actually deserves stipend to survive by way of welfare and social security. How do you tax an Okada man? Are you supposed to an Okada man in the first place? How do you tax him? And I'm saying this because even the federal government is planning more taxes. You've heard of VAT and on petroleum products. That's the only way they know. And it was going to squeeze us until we have nothing else to be squeezed off. This is the danger. So I'm saying Nigerians must come together now and insist that government must be reformed enough to begin to undertake productive activities. Right now, we need to jettison this orthodoxy that says government has no business in business. One that actually agrees and admits that the business of government is doing business. And any government that cannot do business has no business in business.
Wow. Interesting.
Okay. So let's move on to the next issue. And the federal government has voted 24 billion naira for the 10th Assembly members' accommodation. Yeah. So you will recall in 2019 that 128 billion naira was allocated to the National Assembly, and thereafter about 37 billion naira was approved by the then President Buhari for the renovation of the National Assembly complex. And a lot of people complained about this. Here we are again. You know, how much money will be dished, out for the National Assembly? So is it that it's a perpetual damage from that angle? Yeah.
Are behaving like drunken sailors of a sinking ship. If you look at the kind of parties, for example, that members of the National Assembly actually, the kind of parties to celebrate their inauguration, their national inauguration, across the entire federal constituency and senatorial districts in this country that was done in Abuja here, it tells you something. these people actually believe that they have been elected to come and have their own share of the national cake. Because if you elect me to go and work, I won't be rejoicing. I won't be celebrating. What am I celebrating? I'm going to serve. If I volunteer to come and sweep this highway, in front of these premises, will I be celebrating to come and sweep? Would I do service? But if I am coming here to come and monopolize and decide to share the basket of bread in this complex, I should be celebrating because I'm coming to share in a bread consumption or something like that. What I'm saying in essence is the level of celebration, the level of celebration of the Senate President's election, the Speaker's election, the appointment of the SGF and all of that tells you one thing. People still have the mindset that government is a ticket. It's still a meal ticket. And in a country where citizens are going through all of these hard times and we're expecting more, we should not be hearing such news coming out of our political leadership. And that is one thing I need to draw the attention of the president to. He has spoken well. I've been in honeymoon with the president. He's been saying the right things. He's been making very good appointments that are inclusive and competent. He's been doing so many good things. Some of the policies he's been implementing, even though I disagree with most of them, are part of his campaign promises, which shows integrity of his blueprint and his manifesto. So I cannot hold him responsible for doing that, which he promised to do. And as a matter of fact, all of us actually promised to do the same thing. So the only thing I can ask for is let's have a rethink of these solutions so that we can really solve the problem. But beyond that, he's done well. But there's one thing he has not really committed to. The president has not committed either through statements or actions to cutting down on the cost of governance. I have not seen that commitment anywhere. I said this because...
But Dr. Majeed, don't you think the gentleman who was just approved to be the essay to the president on policy, economic policy, who were already talking about the merger of NIMASA, customs, and FRS, don't you think they're going in that line?
No, merger of NIMASA and other revenue generating agencies.
Yes.
It will simply manage better that government revenue. That has nothing to do with cost of governance per se.
Okay.
It's to say, okay, if we have all of these people just out to generate revenue, I want to have one central body that simply collects all the different taxes into one pool so that they don't get lost in transfers, and manage, the tax system in Nigeria. Because you remember that the president talked about multiple taxation as an issue. That is another. But cost of governance we've not seen him make that pronouncement at all. And it's something he has to commit to. People cannot be asked to sacrifice, and there's no commitment to cost of governance.
Exactly.
Not only cost of governance, but cost, if not reduction or eradication of corruption. We want to see, beginning with cost of governance, ordinarily, we should have nothing to do at this point with such a humongous amount of money for accommodation for House of Representatives.
I'm just wondering that some of these people already have houses in Abuja, so I'm wondering what...
If you don't have accommodation in Abuja, then why were you contesting to come to Abuja? And if you cannot manage within your own means, your allowances, something has to give.
But is there a possibility that the packages could be made less attractive? Who would make that law? Will it not be from them who are even benefiting?
No.
An instance would be the Prime Minister of Netherlands.
Yes.
He trended some weeks ago while he was seen walking down the street by a woman. Not be possible in Nigeria for us to get a point where, even the president can be seen on the streets walking down.
That is if you have performed satisfactorily. And everybody has security, everybody has food to eat. You can walk on the street, nobody cares. But if you have not done that now, you have to you have to drive in a armored car so that you've reduced to hungry desperados don't need you.
But Dr. Dahiru, if you look at it from another end, I mean, during campaign, we see them come to some of these levels. Some of them go as far as frying akara, being in the same classroom, eat the food with us, wear uniform.
They are all choreographed and staged.
Oh, wow.
Exercises for the cameras and for people to say that they are humble and they are poor people. The truth is, you talked about National Assembly.
Yeah.
The president is the leader of his party. I would have believed that if he had this intention of cutting costs, he successfully galvanized support for his anointed candidates or candidates for the election of the National Assembly. He did it successfully and skillfully. He was able to get the opposition parties to generally align with his choice. Part of his legislative agenda for these candidates that he has supported should have been cost in governance in the legislative arm of government, followed by zero corruption in budgetary and appropriation processes. Look, we have a major problem with appropriations and budgeting in Nigeria. Very big problem. So I would expect that the president will fight this problem from his own executive end. Because if you look at our budget, that's why the last government left how many trillion naira debt? I hardly can say anything to show for it. It was a bazaar. Directors will insert projects. Anybody that had access to budgeting process will insert, including clerks of National Assembly, including the of National Assembly, Senate. Everybody just pumped nonsense into the budget. So your budget of 13 trillion, 12 trillion, 15 trillion is full of filth, it's full of trash. And government implements them. And those who put these things in the budget insist that their own should be prioritized. That is the problem we've been facing. So for a country that is now allowing, that has floated citizens to pay the right price for energy and foreign exchange, we would have expected a commitment, firm one from the president, to say, look, the reason I supported you to become this is because you're going to go there and commit class suicide by reducing drastically. So, for example, I would expect these people, they are responsible and honorable, like they're supposed to be, to say, look, in the interest of the country and our constituents, we are sacrificing our accommodation allowance. We are sacrificing social and so allowance. We want to also tighten our belt like the people we are leading. It should have come from them. But people that were celebrating and doing party upon, I think they will sacrifice. If they were going to sacrifice, they wouldn't have been doing those parties. So it's a sign of irresponsible leadership that people are elected to the National Assembly and they're doing parties everywhere. They're celebrating. It's like, yes, as you do with a lottery, why should you celebrate leadership position?
But some of them, their followers organize those parties.
Because they know the benefit they're going to get from that office, which is not supposed to be. The benefit people should get from public office holders should be good governance across board. You fix lights, you fix power, you fix electricity, you fix energy crisis, you fix road, you fix security. So whether you're a supporter or not, if you're in your house, all of these are fixed, it's better for you than contract and patronage. So everybody's positioning to get direct from the direct. That is the issue. So it tells you that our days are not really ready. This is the challenge before us. We've not seen that commitment. And maybe we should begin to tell our president, who is doing fairly well now, I mean, you can commend him on so many issues, to say, sir, we need a firm commitment from you. Speak to the members of the National Assembly, speak to the judiciary, that there should be an effort. There should be that effort to drastically reduce waste and excesses in the three branches of government to the BRS, to the most necessary minimum. Followed by total war on corruption. Look, if you don't fight corruption, not by mouth, if you don't take that decision to end this haste in government across board, we'll be having this conversation many years from now with our belts tightened even more. So we need to have a national conversation that is an agenda-setting one. These issues are real. Otherwise, they'll keep taxing us, and this problem will not be solved. Like the money they're going to save, for example, from subsidy removal, will be migrated into the federation account and share for the 3 tiers of government. Have you seen any of your governors reducing their convoy? Have you seen them flying economy class on commercial airlines? Have you seen them appointing less commissioners and less advisors? Have you seen any sign so far that the governors of Nigeria, 36 of them, are aware that Nigerians are sacrificing, and other than they also sacrificing with us, which ordinary they're supposed to actually lead the sacrifice, that they are still living as if it is still party as usual. They are still carrying on as if it is party as usual.
Wow. Okay, so we would be bringing the third story. Let's get the view of our listener. We've had a lot to talk about. We'll open up the phone lines, 0700 951 0000, 080-959-74869. You may send in messages to 080-999-30137. Let's get your views on the two issues we have raised. Let's talk. Hello. Good afternoon to you. Oh, welcome, sir. Okay, your line is breaking. So sorry. You may have to call us back, okay? That line is unclear. Let's go to the WhatsApp now. Hello. Good afternoon to you.
Hello, good afternoon, Dr. Majeed. Good afternoon, the other Debby and the billionaire.
Yes,
My name is Salasi. Honestly, what Dr. Majeed just say is you can see it. They only say the poor should sacrifice. As I'm speaking to you, some of them have been in government since 1999. Some of them have never used their money to buy fuel. Government have been buying fuel for them. They don't have. They are the ones that are supposed to cut costs. Why is it that everything they will say the people should sacrifice? And some people will say Nigeria are complaining, and Nigeria are being myopic. All these things. See, the needful should be done. You say you make mention of even Americans subsidized in one way or the other. Me, I was in support of removing the fuel subsidy, but I was saying that our refinery must work before removing the subsidy. Who are the cabal? Who are the few people benefiting from this milking Nigeria dry? And this is the government. They promised to fight corruption. Why can't they get these people arrested? Look at some people have lost their job. Many people can't go out. Go to the town and see how the town is free. People can't afford to go with their vehicle anymore. I'm telling you. So something needs to be done. As for next month, they are going to increase the tariff of electricity again. We are going to pay higher.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Dr. Majeed. LSUC.
Oh.
Good afternoon. I really appreciate the summit. I've been listening to him for long. I've never contributed. I only get my daughter to write whatever thing Dr. Majeed is saying. It's just a classroom for me anytime he's on board. I want to talk about what Salasi talk. These people are saying we should sacrifice. Honestly, I don't understand. Is it only for the poor people to sacrifice? Them are getting richer? Is that the kind of leader we want in this country today? Imagine this kind of bill they want this bill to be fine. Millions of naira for them to have their own comfort zone. But then they cannot sacrifice. For Carla said, these are the people that we elect to come and represent us. And we are just suffering there. They are just busy getting it. Okay, but the people like Amalawa, how many years in that Senate? That's how you'll be getting all these things. For Carla said, please, Nigeria, we are watching. God will help us.
All right, let's speak more. Hello. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon, Dr. Majeed and the billionaire.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Maurice. I'm speaking from Guarimpa.
Let's talk.
Yes, well said. But the truth remains that good governance is not a substitute for democracy. You know, when we are all these complaints now, or rather all these issues that are raised, for example, now, the people are really suffering. It's like our outing on the 25th of February is just for us now to inherit another round of suffering. Like late fella said, to settle Wahala, you will start another Wahala again. Nigerians thought that having gone out on 25th of February to elect their lead, by now they would have been paid because this.
Okay, so sorry about that. Your line is breaking. We'll have to let you go. Hello. Good afternoon to you.
Thank you, Auntie Debo. Can you hear me now?
Yes, please. Let's talk.
The billionaire, I greet you. And Mr. Dr. Majeed, God bless you. That's what we call it. I think we need a revolution in Nigeria. If people will allow me. See, if we continue like this, lamenting, Mr. Majeed, you will say this, you will reach 100 years. These people will not change. Your children and my children will join. They will still follow the same suit. Their children will still continue be. Look at many of them now. Their children are House of Rep, Assembly. You can imagine children of former this, former that. Look at Pamelawa, Apabio, what's his name? Mundumedem. They have been in National Assembly since 1999. Tinubu was a former senator when I was in JS2. Look at them now. They are all billionaires. Many of them, in 20 years ago, they cannot vote for 1 million. But look at them today. We should sacrifice. When we talk now, that man from Duse, we sell us, we are not patriotic. And he's deceiving himself. You that you cannot feed your children. You are telling me that I should be.
Adewumi, hold on. Adewumi, hold on. You can make your comment and push out your opinion without calling another person.
I didn't call anybody name.
No, you don't need to call Adewumi. Let's stay with the conversation. Okay.
Forgive me. Don't be annoyed. People piss you off. You are you are in Nigeria, you are living in Duse. You are talking as if you are living inside the land with Muhammadu Buhari. What is the meaning about that? If Tinubu is not doing well, we need to tell him.
All right.
Thank you so
much.
Thank you. Yeah, we have to let you go there, Adewumi. Yeah, you can make your contributions without bashing on anybody. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, the billionaire that's rich in bread, and Dr. Majeed that's rich in.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, my name is Pastor TJ from Dubai.
Let's talk.
Yeah, I just want to say that we don't. I don't see anything tangible that I don't see any decision that makes sense that Tinubu have taken since he came to power because.
Pastor TJ, if you say you don't see any tangible, I mean, if people like Bode George can say they still see what Tinubu has done,
and can suggest appointments as well, right?
Forget about why
Okay, we may not continue with your call, right? You're breaking. So sorry. You will have to call us back, please. Okay, call us back. Hello. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Welcome. Turn down the volume on your radio.
Majeed, good afternoon. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, they came from Warimpa.
Okay.
I thank Majeed very much. Initially, see. I want to, even if it's my last Kubo or whatever that I've been doing for, please, I want any of those people that is doing, I want to set a debate with Dr. Majeed. That is the only thing that Nigeria will do. From that debate, government will know whether if they are doing well or not. Because you see somebody that will come in radio station, he will tell you exactly what it is. He will tell you, and he presents solution, and he will tell you what the solution will be. How will you tell me that government don't have business in government? We are spending more, but we don't have any hope that tomorrow this is how it will be. You tell us the market will decide what the country will be. Is there anywhere in the country, as Mr. Majeed said it, that market, the people that put their money in business, will not decide how the country will be run? Everything from the fuel, from cuisine, from NEPA, from diesel. Now, the market force in Europe, not in Nigeria, decide how the country will run. Then we tell you that the government is doing well. And then the question again, I want to drop this out of the court. Please, what is that step that the present government has been taking that benefits the poor masses now that we say yes? It's only that the last administration has stumbled everything. So anything that they do now, we see it as a kind of the right thing to do. Is it the right thing?
All right. Thank you.
How did this benefit us?
All right. We have to let you go. Thank you so much. Thank you, right? Let's see the messages and come back for a conversation.
This person just says, okay, Mr. Majeed, yay. Fizi and his women combo. Welcome, Dr. Majeed. And this person says, soft Debby on hard fact. What a sweet balance. El and Oga Majeed Dahiru. I'm loyal and I'm tuned in. God's son, okay, sends that in. Good afternoon. The Nigerian government should help the downtrodden with palliative to cushion the effect of subsidy removal. Oludade Abiodun sends that in via WhatsApp. Adebari says, good afternoon, Dr. Majeed and Debby. My opinion about the subsidy is, why should a king order the killings of all the newborn babies because he is looking for one baby Jesus? Can't these few people be arrested for scamming Nigeria? Can't they block all the loopholes in subsidy? NLC and TUC should not sell out. The meeting upon meetings and committees upon committees is taking forever. They will kill us with hardship. Those are his words via WhatsApp this afternoon. It's quite a lengthy one. Okay. Sandra, all allowances. Okay. Okay. Hard fact in Lagos message just jumped to hard fact in Abuja. Because when we started with Sandra, I'm saying, okay. Leo says, only a lazy and unproductive government will hide under the saying that government has no business doing business. Perhaps they are only in business for permissive wealth accusation. Leo sends that in. Emeka from NMPC Towers says, good afternoon, Debby, LFEZ, and Dr. Majeed. Who has said it all? I don't expect much from APC government, because he who brought his power, his way to power, will surely find any means to recover all the money he spent while chasing power. Secondly, he who rode on 30 convoys and 6 presidential jets will find a way to make the masses pay for their juicy and welfare packages, which ordinary Nigerians are paying the price now. In just 3 weeks, everything has skyrocketed, including electricity. Debby, more is on the way coming, because there will be potential increase in school fees. Don't forget that the minimum wage of 30,000 are yet to be increased. These are people telling Nigerians to sacrifice. No problem. Keep sacrificing while praising them. Time shall tell. Obedient man, we can send that in via WhatsApp.
All right. And, we will be coming back for another round of talks, but let's go back to our guest to give us his view on the comments so far.
I think Nigerians are largely in agreement that we need a way out. You can see people saying, look, it is no longer logical to say government does not do business. When I say this, look, Saudi Arabia, for example, has a company called Aramco.
Yes.
Aramco is owned by Saudi government 98.5%. Saudi Aramco has a refinery. The largest refinery in the US is owned by Saudi Aramco. So Saudi Aramco has a net income of over $300 billion per annum. That's why Saudi is able to subsidize education from primary to foreign degree level. They were able to subsidize healthcare. They were able to subsidize energy for citizens. That's why in Saudi, you don't pay income tax as a worker. You only pay VAT.
Okay.
Yes. That's why. That's why you don't see Saudi citizens anywhere in the world hustling for survival. It's not possible. Have you seen any Saudi citizens in Nigeria seeking for employment or anything? Can't see them. Because their governments do business enough to earn money. Nigeria is like a father who does not do anything and sits down at home and borrows money to survive, and expects his children to go and work and then bring it down for him by way of taxes. How does that work? So we need a fundamental rethinking of our political economic philosophy. It's fundamental. Nigeria borrows a lot from China, right? China is one of our biggest development partners. They funded our railway projects. China is the second largest businessman in the world. Every company, any entity, any Chinese company you see in Nigeria, from CCEC, the construction company, to Seaway Drinking Water, name it, they're owned by the Chinese government. You know what that means? Just as you sell only crude, that Shell and so helps you to sell and give you a percentage. Each bottle of Seaway water you drink, you are paying into the federation accounts of China. Each of their bread you buy in any of their confectionaries, you are paying to Chinese government. Each of the contract, 1 kilometer of road that they construct for you in Nigeria, we are paying Chinese government. Any company you see that is Chinese, including Chinese restaurants, are owned by the government. One has equity inside, in partnership with people who can really run the business. Wow. So we run to these countries to borrow money, yet we are refused to do what they are doing. This is the same case with the United States of America. That is the world's largest businessman. The government is not just involved in business, even Hollywood. The American government is behind the success of Hollywood, effectively. I don't know where we got our own from. It's just laziness and irresponsibility. That has to change. Otherwise, no solution can come out of these whole policies that are rolling out. It's not possible.
All right, we would have to put a hold on our conversation. We'll be back after the commercial break, or let's say after the news update at 10. So after 4. The commercials, I beg your pardon, at 4.
We have a short person on her talk. She's not used to the heat yet.
Yeah.
One station for talk. This is Nigeria Info.